Hey, good afternoon. My name is Brother Lee Cummings. I am the author of the Negro Question book series. I'm gonna be with you really brief today. That's why there are no special effects. I just want to touch on this thing with Jesus slash Yeshua as he's talking about the Antichrist. And I want to pick this up at Matthew's the 24th chapter and the 15th verse, because I want to show you one of the great errors that's being taught uh, with the brothers in the camps. Some of these brothers are causing people to stumble at the word because they don't understand the script. Matthew's 24th chapter, and I'm going to pick it up at verse 1. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him where is it? For to show him the temple, the buildings of the temple. And I'm gonna skip down to verse 3, because this probably, to me, it's one of the most important questions that these apostles asked Jesus. I'm gonna have to stop talking about them because the Lord to name some gates in the New Jerusalem after them guys, so he holds them in high esteem. It says, verse 3, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? What shall be the sign of your coming and the end of the world? Probably two of the greatest questions that they asked with all the bickering and the arguing that they was doing. And of course, I'm not going to read all this. Jesus tells them, or Yeshua tells them about wars, rumors of wars, pestilence, disease, famines, and the false prophets that's going to come saying that he is the Christ. But one of the most important one of the great signs that Yeshua, Jesus gives in the New Testament of his second coming is this. Matthew 24 and 15. When you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. He said, when you therefore shall see. What does that mean, man? That's that's futuristic. That is future tense. When you therefore shall see. He didn't say if you look backwards and you have seen. He said, when you therefore shall see. And I'm going to show you the mistake that the brothers are making. They said this already happened. The abomination that make it desolate took place already. Let me show you what they're referencing. Let's go to Daniel, like Jesus said, or Yeshua said, and pick it up at Daniel 11th chapter. And I'm going to pick it up, I think it's at verse 31. I was looking at this earlier today, and the sister called me and said, hey, I want you to go back over this. Look at this. It says, Daniel 11 and 31, in arms, which is an army, shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary's strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice, and they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate. Now we got some wise guys out there that happen to know, and they are indeed correct. This took place between the year 175 and 164 BC, right around 164. I put it at 162, but I'll go with the historian. 164 BC, when Antiochus Epiphanes invaded Judea, he placed a statue of Jupiter inside the temple. He put a pig on the altar. He stopped the reading of the scriptures. He stopped the Hebrew Israelites from being circumcised on the 8th day, and he forbade Sabbath worship. That took place. So the brother saying, this is what Jesus is talking about. No, Jesus, if we run back, this took place in 164 BC. When Jesus makes his comment, the timeline now is 30 AD. So he's telling you about a future event. And how do we know it's a future event? I'm going to show you, man. I shouldn't be, we shouldn't have to do these lessons. But again, we got people running around here self-proclaimed. Matthew 24 and 15 says, when you therefore shall see, this is a future event, the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet standing in the holy place, whoso read, let him understand. Verse 16. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. That is a future event. Then verse 21 says, for then shall be great tribulation, as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be, except those days should be shortened, no flesh shall be saved. This is in 30 AD. They didn't have any weapons in 30 AD that could destroy the whole world or contaminate the water in the air. Jesus now is talking about what? The nuclear age. I'm going to read verse 22 again. And except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh saved. They didn't have nothing during the days of Antiochus Epiphanes with the Maccabees that would destroy all life on this planet. This is a future event. And then in verse 29, he says, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, the moon shall not give a light, and the stars shall fall from the heaven. I ain't reading all this. Verse 30, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. Wait a minute, man. These are all future events. When Yeshua came the first time, he didn't come with an army. I'm going to read that again. Verse 30, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. They shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Verse 31, he shall send his angels with a great sound of the trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Ain't none of this happened yet, y'all. This is all futuristic. So what is the key? What's the solution to the problem? If this happened, if the abomination was placed in the temple during the days of Antiochus, then why is the Lord talking about another event? See, the secret is the Ruach. The Ruach, the Lord has a spiritual gift called the Ruach, the Spirit. And it rests on a man. There's a Ruach that'll rest on you. And the word for, there are two words for rest. One is Shabbat or Sabbath, and the other one is Noah or Nuach. Noah's name, pronounced correctly, is Nuach, and it means to rest. When you rest something on something. So Yahweh, Yahweh, or Yahweh, or Jesus, or Yeshua, all those his names, he'll take the spirit that's on one individual and put it on another individual. We're going to show you how this took place. So Antiochus Epiphanes lived almost 174 years before Yeshua came in the flesh. Jesus came in the flesh through the Virgin Mary. So what's the solution? Let's go to Malachi, the 4th chapter, and the 5th verse. Malachi 4 and 5. This is going to be real brief. So if you blink, I'm done. Malachi 4 and 5. Malachi 4 and 5. And it reads, it says, behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. He said, I'm going to send you who? I'm going to send you Elijah the prophet. But let's see, did Elijah the prophet show up in the New Testament when the Lord showed up, when the Lord was preaching the gospel? Let's go to Matthews 11 and 12. Matthews 11 and 12. You see, and you're going to see, this is going to be real plain to you. Matthews 11 and 12. Let's see. Go on. There it is right here. Matthews 11 and verse 12. Now check this out. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. For all the prophets and the law prophesied unto John. Now verse 14, Matthew 11 and 14. And if you will receive it, this is Elias or Elijah, which was for to come. He that hath ears to hear, let him hear. What you mean John was Elijah that was to come? It was the same spirit that was on Elijah the prophet. That same spirit the Lord put on John the Baptist. John wasn't Elijah's. There was no such thing as reincarnation, and the resurrection had not taken place yet. The only plausible explanation for Yeshua / Jesus to make a comment like that in 30 AD was that what? The same spirit, the same Ruach that rested on Elijah, nuach on Elijah. It nuached on what? It nuached on John the Baptist. We got other instances in the Bible where this took place. When Elijah left, his assistant Elisha said, give me a double portion of the spirit that's your spirit. Let it rest on me. And that took place. So I'm going to end this with that. It's a real brief lesson just to open up your understanding. The same spirit that Antiochus Epiphanes moved in 174 to 162 BC, the same spirit stopping animal sacrifice, stopping the reading of the law, stopping the children of Israel from being circumcised on the 8th day, stopping the Sabbath day worship, is the same spirit that's going to be on the Antichrist or the abomination in our generation. Do you understand? So I hope that this little, this brief lesson that we're doing today, I hope that it gave you some understanding and some insight, because a lot of people are stumbling on that Antiochus Epiphany thing, not understanding that the, what do we say, the satar or the satar or the secret was what? The secret is the ruach. It is the spirit. The Lord could take, you can see it even in this generation. All these people that are singing and playing basketball and throwing footballs and baseball, it's the same gift. It's the same spiritual gift. Paul describes that. He talks about that in one of his letters. All these several abilities are given by the same spirit. So I'm going to conclude this with that. I hope you got something out of this little brief little piece. God bless you. I'm going to be doing, I guess I'm going to start doing these. You have a good evening. Hey, don't forget to visit the Negro Question bookstore. And if not, go to Amazon. And we just published a brand new book, Genesis Volume 1. It'll teach you how to pronounce, speak correctly Aramaic Hebrew.